Welcome back to the Hill on NewsNation. I'm Mike Vaquera. Democratic presidential candidate RFK Jr. says he needs Secret Service protection. In a tweet, the Democratic presidential candidate said, "Since the assassination of my father in 1968, candidates for president are provided Secret Service protection, but not me." Okay, joining us now, former Secret Service special agent serving in the Presidential Protection Division, Mike Matranga. He's also the founder of M6 Global Defense Group. Mike, okay, is he right? Does he have a point? I mean, I know there's the letter of the law in terms of the procedures that the Secret Service follows, but there is some discretion here.
There is some discretion. I do think he does have a point. I mean, you have to consider the fact that, not only in 1968 was his father assassinated in the same position in which he's, running for right now, in the same capacity, but his uncle, who was the president of the United States. And so, if you look back at historical data, in 1981, Jesse Jackson was awarded Secret Service protection. At that time, that was the latest any candidate had been awarded Secret Service protection, and then followed by, President Barack Obama, February of 2007, when he announced, and then I was actually on his detail in May 3rd, 2007, when we picked him up. Yes. And so we picked him up 18 months out. So if there's anybody that I think is a candidate, I definitely would say it would be Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, so 18 months before the election, you were on then candidate Senator Obama's protection detail. That's fascinating. Yes. Was that something that Senator Obama he welcomed? Is that something he thought was necessary?
I do. I think that there was a lot of things in place, him being the first African-American, what I believe is the true legitimate first African-American candidate. With intelligence back in 2007, 2008, driving that decision, I believe it was the right decision. I recall May 3rd, 2007, the first day that I worked the shift. I was one of the first agents assigned to him. And so I definitely think that there is some discretion, but if there's anybody who's going to be a candidate to receive this type of level of protection, it's Robert Kennedy Jr.
And we should note that Donald Trump got it early as well in 2015, as did Ben Carson. Of course, he had a moment in that race in 2015 and 2016. Of course, the African-American former surgeon at Johns Hopkins and went on to lead HUD. But there's a process in place. It's basically the Director of Homeland Security, the Secretary of Homeland Security, can consult with congressional leaders. Alejandro Mayorkas, who's in that position, says he did so, and he said in a very terse letter back to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That he made public, said, "Sorry, we can't do it for you." So is there going to be pushback there? Is this decision subject to politics? It would seem that it is.
I think it is subject to politics, though it should not be. The facts should speak for themselves. But what I think we're seeing here is that we're seeing an unconventional candidate in Robert Kennedy Jr. And some within the Democratic Party, to include the president, I truly feel are intimidated. And so, at any time the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security or the President of the United States can grant that permission for the Secret Service to pick up Robert F. Kennedy, they just don't want to at this point, I believe.
They don't want to. And why do you think they don't want to?
I believe that he's a threat to the president's candidacy.
I see. So you think that the president has some say in who gets covered and who doesn't, who gets protected?
He absolutely has say in who gets covered and who does not. When I was on President Obama's detail, we were covering staff members who we felt like didn't need protection. And he was the one who granted them the ability to have that protection through the United States Secret Service. It's no secret.
Well, that's certainly interesting, Michael Matranga. We thank you for your time. We're going to explore that a little bit further.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.